Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Sid Notter. I'm a longtime nutrition educator and the author of the Plan A diet. Whenever we call something our Plan A, that means it's our first choice, right? Our most beneficial choice. That's why my book is titled that, one reason why. So today, again, thanks for being here. I'm going to show you how to make a really simple recipe that's packed with nutrition. It's called Homestyle squash and pinto beans. And I am going to start right off the bat by putting a quarter cup of veggie broth into this skillet. Now, I would usually make this on the stove, not in an electric skillet, but right on the stove. But for the purpose of letting you see easier today what I'm doing, I'm going to make it right here on the counter. So, quarter cup of veggie broth, a half cup of onion, and let me get my spoon out here. Yep, half cup of onion, garlic, two garlic cloves, and 2 teaspoons of minced jalapeno. Minced jalapeno. Did I say mint jalapeno? I meant minced. Okay. So in here, now again, we've got a quarter cup of veggie broth, half cup of chopped onion, 2 teaspoons of minced jalapeno, and 2 garlic cloves. And I'm going to let that simmer for just a little bit. My pan seems a little hot. This electric skillet, I've got it on 250. I'm going to just turn it down a hair just to see. Okay. The liquid is already boiling off, and I don't want that. We want the veggies to get a little tender here. Okay. And so after this, while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cut up. It calls for a cup each of zucchini squash and yellow zucchini. So let's go ahead and get a zucchini cut up. Now, it doesn't say if this should be peeled or unpeeled. I just go ahead and put the peel right in there. It says 1/4 inch slices. So I'm going to just make some quick slices here. I found this knife at a farmer's market in Florida. And what I like about it, it's called an easy slice, is that instead of going down, this one does better if you go into the food, at an angle. So I like that a lot. Anyway, this is about 1 cup here of sliced zucchini squash. And there we go. I'm going to add that to the pan. I might need to add a little bit more water or broth. So hang on 1 second. I want to get just a little tiny bit more. Get a little bit more in here. Again, I had the pan a little too toasty there, I believe. Okay, and now let's do a half or a whole cup rather of yellow squash. So one of the things I like about this recipe a lot is that it has almost 12 grams of fiber per serving, and that is really important. This squash is kind of bulky. I'm going to cut it again just to get smaller chunks. Anyway, fiber is so important, and less than 3% of Americans are getting the required daily amount of fiber, which is, I think it's currently about 32 grams a day, is what we should be getting as adults. And most Americans are getting about half of that. So if you eat a serving of this, you've got 12 grams already going into the day, which is really good. Fiber, in case you don't know, is rated as the most anti-inflammatory food component. So our top cancer researchers at the American Institute of Cancer Research, they came out with a report back in 2009 called the Dietary Inflammatory Index, and they rated fiber and the phytonutrients in plants as the 2 most anti-inflammatory food ingredients we could possibly eat. So I have a whole class on inflammation that I taught at our local college, but it's now on my website. If you're interested in that, my website is cydnotter.com, cydnotter.com. All right, I'm going to cover this up. And let's saute for 2 minutes, and then we're going to add corn. Okay, half cup of corn. You know what? I'm going to saute this for just a little bit longer, and I'll come right back to you. Okay, I'm back. I just wanted the zucchini to soften up just a little bit more. Then we're going to add a half cup of corn. I've got organic corn here. And then a 16-ounce can of pinto beans, drained and rinsed. And again, these are organic pinto beans that I'm using today. A 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes. I'm using petite diced. I just prefer petite diced for some reason. I like the smaller chunks. Give this a good stir. And now I am going to cover this, make sure I got everything, corn, beans, tomatoes, and their liquid. Oh, the most important ingredient, the fresh thyme. Thyme is what really makes this recipe one of my favorites. So if you're growing thyme in your garden, this would be a great recipe to try your thyme in. Now, the recipe calls for 3 fresh sprigs of thyme, but you know what? I put in a lot more because we're going to pick it out anyway. I just put in like 6 or 8 fresh sprigs, and it's going to simmer in here for 10 minutes. And I'm going to put the cover on the pan, and then I'll be back to you in 10 minutes. Okay, everyone, thank you for your patience. The Homestyle squash and pinto beans has been simmering for about 10 minutes, and I've checked it, and the zucchini is just right. I don't want it mushy, but it's just crispy tender, and that's the way we prefer to have it. You know, we don't want it too broken down. So now you would take your thyme out of there, and I always put in extra thyme, as I said before, because who doesn't like more thyme, right? Who doesn't need more thyme? Okay, so in fact, I've even chopped up some more fresh thyme that I'm going to put on top of this on my particular plate. So if you're a fan of thyme, it's something you could do as well. By the way, I forgot to mention that this recipe is from the PCRM. It's a recipe of the week, which I started making in October of 2012. That's when I printed this recipe out from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And it's a recipe that is still on our favorite list that we still make routinely. So check that out. I'm going to have a copy of this on my website. I can't find this particular recipe to give you the link anymore, but I'll have it on my website. Go to sidnotter.com and just type Homestyle in the search bar and it'll come up because the name of this is Homestyle squash and pinto beans. All right, so the recipe calls for 2 cups of cooked brown rice. I'm going to put this over top of my particular plate of brown rice here. I'm going to sprinkle it with some more fresh thyme, and voila, you have got a nutritious, high protein too, almost 12 grams of protein in this dish, healthy plant-based protein, and again, almost 12 grams of fiber. Really, really super, and really low in fat too. 6.4% of the calories come from fat. That's it. So this is a very low-fat dish. Be great for anything you're trying. If you're on a weight loss program, this would be one of the dishes you could eat freely. So thank you very much. And again, go to my website for the recipe and for more information. Take care.